A little while ago, I posted a video exposing the hypocrisy of a certain YouTuber, Urghbla. It made rounds on social media, and his community quickly rushed to bring it to his attention. They responded by dismissing my arguments, with false accusations, each more outlandish than the last. Some of them were amusing, I must admit, others, however, are crimes in the eyes of the law. So, to sum it up, on one side, I have defenders of pedophiles and so-called professional victims that are an insult to real victims. And on the other, I have hypocrites who act like little detectives, ignoring the victims of the predators they claim to expose. Before getting into the core of the matter, here's a quick reminder. I'm making a claim. Urghbla is a hypocrite, because he shows a lack of interest in his community, and he has no regard for real victims. How? Well, he has an authoritarian attitude and abuses the little power he has. He takes no responsibility, and he exposes deviants solely for views. That being said, let's go over the latest updates. Among all the reactions to my last video, I received some comments that show a serious lack of critical thinking from Urghbla's community. That's why I'll be addressing them now. Karen is Urghbla's girlfriend. She loves politics so much that she's always looking for problems where they are none, to the point where many find her behavior downright irritating.
I'm in a fight! I need more men!
One of the main arguments from Urghbla's community was the time I took to make my video, so I have no idea what that's supposed to prove, other than their blatant inability to come up with solid arguments. Apparently, asking a minor's opinion on this bingo card and exposing a predator hunter for his hypocrisy are valid reasons to accuse someone of being attracted to kids. As absurd as it is, it speaks volumes about Urghbla.
Gonna cry?
Okay, let me explain. This ain't about me. I used my case as an example because I had all the evidence I needed to expose Urghbla. By addressing these accusations, I've shown you that Urghbla's community made poor accusations while ignoring my arguments instead of doing a real debunk. This raises serious concerns about how they operate. These people are supposed to be predator hunters. They shouldn't be that immature. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's dive into the main topic of this video. Urghbla's response. And I warn you, it's a disaster. Sensitive viewers, you might want to skip this part.
You claim that the bingo board was not intended to come off the way it did, and we were willing to accept your offensive behavior as stupidity, but you kept persisting and complaining in the Discord.
Okay, so first off, you clearly don't understand how a bingo card works, and yet you hold me responsible for it. Sure, maybe I could have explained the bingo card better, but that doesn't make its content false. Look. They were prized who abused children. They didn't do it because they were prized, but rather, they became prized to gain easier access to the victims. This applies to my entire bingo, even within the LGBT community. And denying this truth is just as prejudiced as claiming they are like that.
I made that post that is shown in this video responding to your tantrum, only for you to not respond. After maybe a week or so went by, I decided to ban you because how are you going to make a big scene and then when I go out of my way to respond, you just ignore it?
So you banned me from your server just because I dared to say silent? You accused me of belief that we weren't even mine. What exactly do you expect me to say to that? That it's false, just so you can delete my message like you did with the previous ones?
Nothing said in this video is anything more than an accusation. You've made assumptions about my motives based on what you would do in my situation. If your channel blew up, you would have to pretend you are not a discriminatory moron, not me.
You claim I made accusations through reversal tactics. That's rich. The problem is, I provided evidence. Now, if you want to question my conclusion, well, based on your actions, it was the only logical way to end my video. Excuse me, but you did everything possible to lead me to that conclusion. You gave me no choice but to go public, since you banned me from your server and blocked me everywhere. So tell me, how was I supposed to start a dialogue when you cut off every way to reach you?
The only thing you said that was true is that Rob is a minor. I don't know how you were saying he joined when when he was 11 and is now 15 when he only was in the server for a year.
Oh, right, my bad. It seems that Rob wasn't 11 when he joined. He was 14. Big difference, right? He's still a minor, and the law remains the same. But apparently in your world, there's a difference between one minor and another. Are you sure you're a predator hunter?
I am learning as I go, which is why we did implement an 18+ section so adults can have a more adult discussion without feeling like kids are watching. You have even made this point in your video, which shows that we obviously do not intend for minors to be involved in 18+ discussion, so why even bring that up?
I covered this topic to prove that you don't actually care about victims. You claim to be learning as you go. We're talking about NSFW content being exposed to minors. That's the first thing that should be censored, especially when you're exposing people following that.
Because you are just mad you got banned. All you had to do was stop making offensive statements and stop disrupting our community, and you would be there. You decided to double down when we told you to stop and got yourself banned. Now you decide to triple down and slander me instead of just simply admitting that you were causing a disturbance.
You claim I kept making offensive remarks, but I didn't. If I actually had, I wouldn't have been defended as much as I was, especially by people directly affected by the issue. Let's not forget that you forced one of your own moderators to publicly apologize just for questioning my warning.
We do not owe you anything, and we do not need to justify our actions. Anyone who chooses to believe this either just enjoys drama, or they already hate me and will use this as validation.
You exposed ProximityChat just because he refused to collaborate with you. You call out people following drama, yet you thrive on it. In the end, I gave you free publicity. You could have just said thank you, but instead you double down, justifying yourself with lies and bad faith.
You are an amazing editor.
Yeah, and you're not. Bye. In a whole year, Urghbla exposed 11 predators, but sample size is far too small and isolated to be considered as reliable data, especially considering he got banned from the Trans Academy, where predators with fake LGBT identities are most common. To clarify, I used my case as an example of what is done to his community, because it was where I had the most evidence. If he was willing to ban someone as productive as me just to win an argument, imagine what else he's capable of to protect his image. Although I've completely got ties with Urghbla and his server, I managed to dig up a few fun facts for you. The day after I posted my video, I got a curious notification. A server member got banned simply for agreeing with her statements. Urghbla justified his action by sending them the following messages. Urghbla keeps saying he's not insecure. So my question is simple. How is not feeling insecure when he's sending messages like this one to people who agreed with me? Urghbla responded to some comments on my video, and even liked his own replies. As ridiculous as it is, it shows how Urghbla manipulates his image to make it seem like more people agree with him. On Twitter, he often trolls VRChat users who post NSFW content, even though one of his own moderators does the exact same thing, which is pretty funny considering what he exposes. And no, this moderator isn't making this content just to bait predators. Like when I was still on the server, several moderators had issues with it, but I won't say more since I no longer have access to the evidence. Like I said before, Urghbla started a drama by accusing ProximityChat of plagiarism. It would be a shame for Urghbla if people found out he's copying concepts himself. Urghbla hit a glass ceiling at 7,000 subscribers, and he knew exactly what was holding him back. His image, accusations of homophobia and transphobia were starting his wrath. To deny them, he banned a few community members, accusing them of homophobia and transphobia, trying to prove he was in the right. This allowed him to troll on VRChat while reviving his subscriber count. But he and his community didn't realize that trolling is about provoking reactions without causing real harm. The jokes about me are funny, I'll admit, but the accusations? Not so much. They are false and they can lead to dangerous consequences. Urghbla and his community are supposed to be predator hunters, yet their severe lack of maturity is alarming. Their response to my video only confirmed this. At the end of the day, Urghbla made to catch a VRChat predator just for views. His sole approach is to gather bits of personal info, slap a face on the culprit, and call it a day. In the end, his work helps no one. The predator he catches can just delete their accounts and make new ones, and he never actually cares about the victims, leaving them to rot in their trauma. And that is the hypocrisy I'm exposing.